Guys, I'm Combat Craig, and I want to talk about two things with regard to VA mental health claims, why they pay out so big, and how to make them stick. So there's two components of this. First, you need to figure out how you're going to establish service connection. So generally speaking, there's two ways. There's actually 5 ways, but we only basically know of one way. Direct service connection. You may not even heard that term. So you figure, I want to file a claim. It has to be in my service treatment records. If it's not in my service treatment records, then I won't be able to make the claim stick. And generally speaking, that is correct if you're filing a direct service connection claim, because you need to have a current diagnosis, current symptoms, and a nexus in order to make any claim stick. So when we're thinking about active duty service, direct service connection claims, like, all right, cool, I have this thing from the military. There's some records in the military, got a current diagnosis of it. It's bothering now, so I have the symptoms. And then your doctor writes you a nexus. Then you still have to overcome, the last 30 years or something like that. But that is generally the way the VA kind of markets how you should file a claim. The other way is filing a secondary claim. So in order for a secondary claim to even work, you need to have a primary thing, right? So something that's already service connected, and let's just use a very typical example. And why you would even use a mental health claim to get a higher VA disability rating. So you have a 10% rating for your back, and your back's really bad, but there's caps on these things. Your elbows, your hips, your knees, your back, your neck. These things only go up to 10 or 20% in most cases, but they can really alter the course of your life. You can't run, you can't jog, you can't do all sorts of stuff. So if you have a rating, and in this example, we'll just say, 10% rating for your back, this is your primary condition. It's already service connected, and you already have a rating for it. So then you come along with a secondary claim. I guess I'm doing 2 thumbs up here, right? And then you get your doctor to say, hey, this secondary thing, mental health, right? Depression, anxiety, about 150 other different things. This is caused by the back. So current diagnosis for depression, current symptoms, social and occupational impairment. How much is this screwing up your social life? How many times have you been divorced? How bad is it at work? How many times have you been fired? Anything that's a problem in your social and your work life, the more problems you have, the higher the rating. And then you need your doctor to write you a nexus. The problem with this, when you're filing a mental health claim, your first track is, it's because of my service. And that may be why, but we're not filing a direct service connection claim. We're filing a secondary service connection claim. So the depression needs to be because of your service-connected back. So you need a current diagnosis, current symptoms, which is where your rating comes from, and a nexus. The nexus is the medical link. It's the third piece of crucial medical evidence. If you don't have it, you're not going to win your claim. So if your doctor won't write you a nexus, which is a medical opinion saying that your depression was caused by your service-connected back, then check out my med team. There's an email address below. They can help you with any piece of this medical evidence that you're missing. Or Google it, or, whatever. Try VA doctors. You might not have much luck. Shop around and find it, but after all that, you need actual medical evidence that works. Come back, check out my med team. So the next piece of this is mental health. So we talked about depression. That's one mental health diagnosis, and that's the only one you need. You need one mental health diagnosis, and it needs to affect you severely. The more severe it affects your social and your occupational life, that's where the higher rating comes from. I get a lot of questions saying, cool, I have depression. Now I got a new diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder and schizophrenia and PTSD. Wow. Now I might be able to get 3 mental health ratings. Or, wow, this will for sure raise my 30% mental health rating. And none of these things are true. You don't need 4. I have 5 of them. You only get 1 mental health rating. So just pick one, whatever one you have, whatever one you're running with, and run that all the way to 70%. So combining different mental health ratings, getting more diagnosis, that's great and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to increase your rating. You need a doctor to fill out an independent medical opinion or a disability benefits questionnaire for mental health and have them, write down how bad your social and occupational impairment is. I'll put a link to the Code of Federal Regulations. That's the law. That's the main thing you need to understand and read. And I'll also put a link to the DBQ so you can take a look at that and see what the symptoms are. Before you even go get a diagnosis, do these symptoms even look like things that you have is a good place to start. And then, once you're on board with that and you're real with yourself about your symptoms, then go get a doctor and start putting this together. It's all about strategy. That's what I teach in my boot camp. Check it out at combatcraig.com. Link for that is also in the description. I'll see you in the next video.